Example problem 2. The instruction to go along with the example problem. Subtract rational numbers. The difference of two rational numbers with the same denominator. Well, again, let's let a over b and c over b be any rational numbers. Then the difference will equal a over b minus c over b, and that equals a minus c over b. The difference of two rational numbers with different denominators, again letting a over b and c over d be any rational numbers, will equal a times d, that cross product, minus b times c, that cross product, over b times d, the product of our denominators. So let's subtract 1/2 from 2/5. This example tells us to subtract 1/2 from 2/5. Now be very careful setting up this problem. This is not going to be 1/2 minus 2/5. No, in this case we're subtracting 1/2 from 2/5, so we will begin with 2/5 and subtract 1/2 from that. And now remember, when subtracting fractions, we need a common denominator. Or, in this case, let's use the book's definition of subtraction and identify a, b, c, and d. All right, and an example problem, 2 1/4 minus 4 2/3. Well, we have a unique situation here where we'd like to achieve common denominators, but we're beginning with whole numbers as well as fractions. So these are what we call mixed numbers. We have a whole number part and a fraction part. So 2 1/4, we'd like to convert that to an improper fraction. So recall the process for that will be 4, our denominator, times 2, our whole number, plus 1. 4 times 2 plus 1 is 9, and 9 will go over our original denominator of 4. So 2 1/4 can be converted to 9/4. Same number, just looks different. 9/4 minus, performing the same process on 4 2/3, 14/3. Now, seeking out a common denominator, a value that both 4 and 3 are factors of. Well, 4 goes into 4 and 8 and 12, 3, 6, 9, 12. So it's nice to look for a least common denominator that may be smaller than the product of 4 and 3, but again, in this case, our least common denominator is the product of our two denominators, and so we'll multiply. 9/4 times 1. And then we'll subtract from that. 14/3 times 1. But remember, we get to choose how we'd like to write 1. And we may write 1 in a way that accomplishes work for us. So let's consider, in what way should we write 1 so that when we multiply it by 9/4, we end up with a fraction whose denominator is 12. Well, we have to multiply 4 by 3 to get 12, so our denominator in this fraction that has to equal 1 must be 3, And if we multiply, well, considering 1, the only numerator possible now is 3, because 3 over 3 is 1. So we'll multiply 9/4 by 3 over 3, which again equals 1, so we're not changing the value of this fraction, only the way it's written. And over here we'll multiply by 1 written as 4/4. All right, these things simplify. So I'm moving across the page, moving further across the page. 9 times 3, 4 times 3, 14 times 4. $56. 3 times 4, 12. $27 minus 56. Well, we know that will be a negative. We're taking away more than we have to start with. We know that our denominator will be 12 because we have our like denominator. We just now need to find what is 27 minus 56. We should reduce our fraction if possible. Can you find any common factors between 29 and 12? Not finding any, we leave our answer as negative 29/12. And here's a guided practice problem. However, having guided you through the example problem, I'll ask you to complete this one on your own. What is 1/4 minus 3/10? Find the common denominator and perform the subtraction. Simplify your final fraction if possible.